Hello traders, welcome back to the channel. This is Jonah with Trading the Charts Pro, and guys, we're back one more day. We're gonna break down this market right here right now, and we want to see where can this market go. We're gonna talk about things on a technical basis, and right off the bat, guys, I want to bring this up that the market doesn't go up every day. All right, and if you're only a bullish trader, you're gonna get smacked because you're only going to always be thinking that the market is just going to go up, up and up. Guys, the market technically has three cycles. You got an up market, a down market, and a sideways market. So at all given times, we have to analyze the chart and see when the market conditions are starting to change and what kind of market are we basically in. And for that purpose, today we're starting off breaking down the S&P 500 from the weekly chart, right? Because things has literally started to come down, and as a technical trader, we want to know, okay, how far down this thing is gonna go. Is the uptrend completely over, or is this just a pullback? All right, or is the market trend, main trend, completely broken and we're looking to start moving in a completely different direction? All right, so that's how I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna give you my full honest thoughts about how I feel about this thing going into next week. All right, so looking at the S&P 500, starting off daily on the weekly chart, guys, the short-term daily trend, which is up, we can see right here, market fell out of the trend here back in around October, right? And at that time we were like, oh man, this thing is over. So boom, fell out, uptrend, support here. We can see that for months upon months, this thing was holding that very nice uptrending support. Now when it fell out here, it looked like it was over, but that wasn't it as yet. Market pulled down. Short term, there wasn't even any technical reason, how it just bounced right here and started to move back to the upside. So now that the S&P 500 run up and was back in its trend and it started to break back down right now, technically, you know, the market hasn't really come down and break out this weekly support level as yet. So this can still be just a pullback until the S&P 500 gets to around 4,300. Now, when price pull back to 4,300, we have to watch and see what happened, guys, because if the market takes out that level, what I'm looking at based on the weekly is if we get a breakdown all the way down here, then we're looking for the market to make a short-term rally back up, and then we will be looking to get a second leg pulling back all the way down. That's gonna be a major correction, pulling back all the way back down here to the 3600. So before we get all it's over, we have to wait, be patient, see what happens right around this 4300 level, right? And if that 43 level is not able to hold up the S&P 500, then in the short term, the market is actually going to be going lower. If we switch back over to the daily chart, look at it on a daily basis, we can see things even a little bit more clear, right? Because now we can see where the market actually break down. It actually broke two levels. One, it broke the uptrending support here, and after I call this bounce here, this bounce was short-lived at the top of the box right here. So you're like, well, why did the market sell off at this specific level? Well, if we look, this is resistance, and here again, that level just turned out to be resistance again. So it wasn't able to break out of the box and come back to test its all-time high. Instead, market run back up, top of the box, roll over, just like it did here, just like it did there, and then it broke below the uptrending support and even took out the short-term horizontal support right here, So this pretty much leads us to the conclusion that the market will come down to test this 4,300 or 4,300 level, and then from there we will have a more clear direction as to what's going to happen next. We'd like to see a bounce here, double bottom, before this thing can start to move back sideways or potentially move in an upward direction. If we don't get that bounce, then we have to switch back and start looking for this thing to move on down a little bit deeper before things start to come back up. All right, so don't think that the market only goes up every day and things is just gonna always be moving up, right? If you do that, then you're naive and you're gonna get smacked. All right. Now looking at the NASDAQ from the weekly time frame, because we want to see where's things going big picture. All right, where is the next support level on a weekly basis that has a high potential of really holding up this market. All right, so when we look at the NASDAQ, S&P 500 out the way, we can see NASDAQ, this thing was strong in a very nice uptrend. Last time when the market pulled back, or the S&P 500 had its pullback, the NASDAQ just came down and bounced off support and continue moving up, right? Run up, and here, it just stalled out. It can't go anymore. And that's where we start to have this pullback on the NASDAQ. But what is not good as far as tech goes is that this thing has broke the uptrend. Well, S&P 500 did broke the uptrend last time, and it bounced and come back and started to move up again. So now the critical question that we have to ask ourselves, or not just ask ourselves, but look at the chart and let's think logically here. So now uptrend is broken. What normally happens when a market break an uptrend? Well, it started to move in a different direction. So that means that we're looking for tech to continue falling down to first level, which is a resistance here at 14,000, right? So we can get a bounce off 14,000 here. Typically, if we get a double bottom on the weekly, then we may start moving sideways and start channeling a little bit. But if that is not the case, where is the next critical level that we'll be looking at? We'll start watching the 13,000 level down here. So if we slice through 14, then that could be open up the room for another 1,000 point drop down here to 13,000, right? So that is the second level I'm looking at for the NDX. If we're not able to see or to get a support at the 1,000 the 14,000 level right there. Okay, so that's how I'm looking at it. If we switch over to a daily chart, what are we looking at on the daily chart as far as the NDX goes? Same concept. We have price bouncing here, short-lived rally, which I pretty much thought, hey, this was the move to take us back to the top of the channel, but that was not the case, guys. We stalled out here, and then the next day, that's when I realized trouble was coming, and I'm like, okay, do we get a double bottom off this uptrending support? But early on in the week, when we broke here, the market proved that, hey, we're no longer going higher in the short term, and the selling continued to the downside. Had to do some house cleaning, cut some long position short, and now I'm waiting to see where things go next. All right, so here it's even more clearer. Resistance over here, short-term support here on the NASDAQ. So we're watching the 14,000 level as a support if we don't get a bounce right here at 14,400 around 38, which I think that level doesn't look as strong because we haven't really had any action at this level before. So more than likely, I'm all open to the market coming down another 400 points to that 14,000. And based on what happened here, price action, and here, I'm looking to see this level somewhat holds. If not, then it's not looking good for the NASDAQ. But I'm not jumping all the way there yet. Let's see what happened at 14,000. We get a short-lived rally, and we get the next leg coming down here. That would give us one here, two, boom, three, at least a ABC, boom, 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 boom here, and then we will see what is next and where the market goes next from there. All right, so let's move on over and look at the Dow Jones. As far as Dow Jones goes, guys, this market is still pretty much healthy. Nothing has happened out of the norm as yet with the Dow. So the Dow is pretty much just pulling back at the moment. If the Dow comes down and take out 33,500, then at that time we can clearly say, hey, something has literally changed as far as the Dow Jones market goes, and then we would look for this thing to start coming down lower. But as yet, the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones is still pretty healthy. I'm not gonna overreact as yet. So let's just look and see what happened with the Dow Jones going forward. But I'm looking to see price hold up into this 33,000 level. If not, then guys, we're in big trouble. Why? Because look at the Russell 2000. Russell 2000 on the weekly basis, right? This thing was working pretty nice for a whole year. Practically, this thing was just going sideways. We know where support was, right? Because this was the support, this was the resistance. Very clear pattern until something started to change. So on Friday, or earlier last week, that's when we got the clear breakdown on the Russell 2000, which small cap stocks are doing terrible right now. So I'm watching small cap to see, do we get a pull on back down to around the 1700 level, and at that level I'm looking for price to start stabilizing, and then we'll see where this market goes next from here. This is really not good as far as small cap stocks goes, because this market pretty much run up very nicely, started to move sideways, and then typically what we have is a breakout, which we did get a breakout here, but that was a fake out because it sold off and came right back down, and now it's even going lower. So the normal move is a breakout and a continuation to the upside, which we did not get that in this case as far as the Russell 2000 goes. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happened next with basically with the Russell 2000, given that this thing tried to move higher and eventually broke out, and now we're looking very terrible. Guys, when we look at the VIX, when the VIX goes up, the market comes down. And looking at this thing on the weekly chart, this thing has broken out really strong. Is this thing gonna pop back above 30 and start getting out of whack like we did over here again? I don't know. We have to just continue to monitor this thing into next week. Do we get a double top here on the VIX? Right? Do we get a double top here on the VIX, and the VIX stabilize and start to roll back over and the market stabilize? I don't think we're there yet. I do believe that there's a high probability that this VIX may break out even further, right? And if we do get a breakout above 31, then there is still some more room for the market to come down lower, which we did show that as far as NDX, we did show that as far as the S&P 500. As far as the Dow Jones goes, the market still looks healthy, nothing to worry about yet. So let's keep an eye on that, and then we'll see what happens next from there. Guys, try to manage the position size. Don't get too scared. Know your time frame, know your timeline on a trade. If you're short-term trading, you have to understand that you're short-term trading and treat the trades as short-term. Don't get attached. If you're swing trading, look at what you own and manage it accordingly. But don't ever get scared and let the emotions dictate what you do. All right, try to make decisions from a clear-headed space. And until then, guys, I will see you in my next video. Thank you for watching.